Imagine waking up tomorrow. Your car is dead. Not a flat tire. Not a loose cable. A real problem. The mechanic calls. The repair bill is $900. Then your phone buzzes. It's your boss. Next month your errors are being cut. Not eliminated. Just reducing up the hurt. And your rent, it's due in 5 days. You open your banking app. You stare at the number. $287. And that's when the real fear hit you. It's not that you don't have a job. It's not that you don't work hard. You've been grinding, showing up, doing everything you were told to do. And yet you're one completely ordinary accident away from everything falling apart. Most people believe financial collapse happens to people who make catastrophic mistakes. Gambling, addiction, a shopping addiction they couldn't control. But that's a confident lie. The truth is far more terrifying. For millions of people, life unravels because of one car repair, one medical bill, 1 month of reduced hours. Because they have no buffer. Zero. The real danger in America right now isn't public in the way we used to define it. The real danger is looking completely normal while having absolutely no defense. You go to work, you pay the bills, you keep the machine running. But your entire future is balanced on a single, fragile assumption that next month, nothing bad will happen. A pharmacy technician in Ohio used to live inside an exact fear. She would wake up every morning knowing that one surprise expense could wipe her out. She tried to fix the She failed twice, until she stopped chasing geared goals and found the number so small it almost seems too bad. It wasn't $10,000. It wasn't even $1,000. It was $50. Taken out of every paycheck before the world could steal it. Today we're going to break down why a number that sounds laughably small might be the last wall standing between you and toilet financial disaster. This is not about getting rich quick. This is about why so many people with decent incomes still feel like they are drowning, and how a simple rule, the $50 rule, can stop building a floor beneath your feet before the next 5-day race. Pardon you're no broke. You just have no access system. Here is the old story we've all told. Low income equals poverty. Struggle means you don't earn enough. But that story is broken. Right now, there are people earning $50, $60, $70,000 a year who are just as terrified as someone earning minimum wage. They have the job, they have the car, they have the credit cards. The Instagram feed looks fine, but behind the screen, there's less than 1 month of living expenses in the bank. The biggest mistake these people made was not spending too much on coffee. It was not some moral failure, though it was a structural failure. They built a life with no room for error, and life will always produce error. The water heater will burst, the transmission will fail, the company will downsize. The question is not whether bad things happen. A question is whether your financial system allows for a bad thing to happen without destroying you. For most, the answer is no. Where does the money actually go? It is easy to say people are just bad with money. The dad is lazy. The money disappears into 3 specific traps. The first trap is a fixed cost crate. You can raise. You finally make more money. And immediately, your lifestyle inflates to swallow the gain. A slightly bigger apartment, a higher car payment, more subscriptions. The income goes up to the free cash flow. The money it could save you stays exactly the same. You're running faster just to stand still. The second trap is the smaller consistent drain. This is the silent killer. It is not the big obvious purchase. It is the 5 services pulling $12 a month from your account. It is the insurance you forgot to renegotiate. It is the convenience fees. Alone, they look harmless. Stacked together over a year, they represent hundreds, sometimes dozens of dollars. They could have built a wall. But because the amount is small, the brain ignores it. The third trap is the absence of a cash firewall. Many people are trying to invest. They buy stocks. They research crypto. They listen to podcasts about passive income. But they have no liquid cash barrier. So when the first small crisis hits, there is no defense. They have to sell assets at a loss, borrow money from family, or slide deeper into critical debt. They are building a roof while the basement is flooding. And this is where traditional financial advice becomes actively dangerous. You've heard the advice a dozen times. Don't save 20% of your income. Have 6 months of expenses. Salazar thought it sounds mathematically perfect, but it ignores a brutal reality. For a huge portion of the country, Their income is already fully allocated to survival. The rent is the first half, transportation, and fully the rest. When you tell someone whose account is a zero to save 20%, you are not giving them a plan. You are giving them a fantasy written in a language they cannot use. A perfect financial plan you cannot follow is not a plan. It is just skill wrapped in a spreadsheet. Part 2. The $50 Rule. Building the first wall of fear. Let's go back to Renata. She is 33 years old. She works as a pharmacy technician. Her monthly take-home pay is around $2,380. She is not a compulsive spender. She is not irresponsible. She is just exhausted. She tried to fix her finances twice before. Both times she set a big goal. She told herself she would save $500 immediately. She told herself this year would change everything. And both times, she failed by March 10th and quit completely by March 3rd. Then she changed the question. She stopped asking, when will I be wealthy? She started asking, what can I keep today? The shepherd watering. She did not look at the mountain. She looked at the next 5 minutes. And that is where Rule 1 comes in. It is called the brick door. Do not visualize the house. Do not visualize the mansion. Do not visualize 10 years from now. Just lay one brick. A single, solid brick. In financial terms, that brick is $50. This is not a math decision, that is a psychology decision. A massive goal triggers anxiety because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is so enormous. Your brain gives up before you start. A brick does the opposite. A brick creates control. You're not trying to build a fortress today. You're just placing one object down. You can do that. Anyone can do that. You do not build a house by staring at the blueprint. You build it by laying the first brick. Bro 2 is the conversion. This is where the real hijack of the $50 rule moves from a savings trick to a wealth habit. The initial $50 is the proof of concept. But the life-changing money comes from how you handle unexpected cash. When another canceled the subscription she forgot about, saving $11 a month, she didn't treat it as free money to spend. When she got a small tax refund, she didn't see a shopping opportunity. She saw raw material. The rule is simple. I need extra money that enters your life. Money from a bonus, a cash gift, a rebate, a side hustle. Must be converted into a brick within 24 hours. The natural human instinct is to let extra money flow in the checking account. It has no name. No purpose. It evaporates in the takeout. Upgrader shipping and minor upgrades you will not remember next way. The conversion rule stops the evaporation. It intercepts the money before you, Brian, can rationalize spending it. You are not depriving yourself. You are simply assigning that money a job. The job is to stand guard. Rule 3 is the ceiling. This is the most counterintuitive part of the entire system. Do not, under any circumstances, suddenly try to save $500 just because you feel motivated this month. That sounds wrong. Don't learn this that hard. Why? The danger of intensity is that it burns out. If you have a perfect month, if you grind it and manage to stash away a huge chunk of cash, you will feel invincible. But next month, when reality returns and you can only save 50 again, it will feel like failure. The brain registers the draw from 550 as a lost door, so you put it again. A stable small system is infinitely more powerful than an occasional big burst of effort. Wealth is not built by your best month. Wealth is built by your worst month. The month you were tired, the month you were sick. The month the car actually did break down. If your system only works when you are a superhero, you will be broke every time you are a normal human. The ceiling protects you from your own self-destructive swings. It forces you to be consistent. It tells you, just the brick, always the brick. Part 3. The same income. Two different futures. To understand why this matters, imagine two people with the exact same job. Let us call them Sarah and Emma. Both earn $45,000 a year. Both want to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. Sarah is driven by intensity. She sets a massive goal to save $500 every single month. She attacks her budget with aggression. She cuts everything for 1 month. She does it. She feels amazing. The second month, life pushes back. There's a birthday dinner, a work event, a minor unexpected bill. She only saves $100. She feels like she failed. By month 4, She has stopped tracking entirely. She is right back where she started. 5 years pass, she has cycled through 3 different budgeting apps and 2 financial gurus. She is still anxious. She is still one flat tire away from panic. Emma does none of that. Emma uses the Shamima rule. She automates $50 from her bi-weekly paycheck into a separate savings account. It is not exciting. She never brags about it. It is boring. It is mechanical. For the first 6 months, the balance looks lifelike, but she never touches it. She adds her tax refund. She adds her overtime pay. She doesn't think about the total. She just lays the brick. 5 years later, the difference between Sel and Em is not just a number in the bank. The difference is that Emma has time. She has space to think. She had choices. When an emergency strikes, Emma handles it and moves on. Sel's life pauses and spirals. The income was identical. The outcome was completely different. The gap between security and terror is not the size of your paycheck. It is whether you have a system that operates when your motivation is dead. Threading it all together, here is what we actually learned. The modern risk for the middle class is not a lack of income. It is a total absence of buffer. The financial world has become so optimized to extract every spare dollar that a person can earn a living and still have SEAL operational safety. The reason ordinary people fail with money is not laziness. They fail because they are handed systems that only work for people who already have breathing room. If you cannot start, you cannot finish. The Wusha-Mian rule works because it bypasses the requirement for motivation. It is so small that it fits into the cracks of a broken budget. The first phase of wealth is not investing. It is not chasing returns. It is building a static defense. You must build a wall before you can build a tower. The people who will be safest in the coming years are not the ones who guessed the right stock. They are the ones who built the first layer of protection before the storm hit. 3 actionable steps to start right now. If you're in a dark place where one bad day feels like it could end everything, you don't need a full financial plan. You need 3 targets. Number 1, calculate your survival number. This is not a dream budget. It's the absolute minimum to keep the lights on. Feed yourself and get to work for 1 month. When you know that number, the 4 quarters, you're no longer afraid of an abstract disaster. You know exactly what your flu looks like. Number 2, build your first brick today. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Right now, open a separate account. Move $50. If 50 is impossible, move 20. The amount matters less than the act. You're teaching your brain you build, not just survive. Number 3, run a wealth legal audit. Go back 30 days through your transactions. Ignore big purchases. Look for ghosts, recurring charges you forgot. Freight trials, the converter. Identify every dollar that left without giving you a real future benefit. Redirect just one of those terms into your brick account. What people get wrong about this rule. The first mistake is saying $50 is too small to matter. That mistakes the object for the objective. The first stage isn't about the money, or it's about stability. The $50 trains the muscle. The money is a side effect. The second mistake is waiting. I'll start when I make more money. But a higher income won't fix a broken operating system. If you let the discipline to save 50 from a small check, the psychology of spending will scale up and swallow a bigger check. The third mistake is trying to rescue your entire past in 1 month. Many people carry shame about their finances, thought they won't want heroic effects. But financial repair is not a sprinter, it's a slow excavation. People who try to flip their life in a weekend almost always crash. Those who lay one boring breakup at a time wake up 5 years later with a fortress. Back to the beginning, so let's turn to that morning. The car is broken. The boss calls. The clock ticks down, the rent day. Bill collectors are circling. What separates catastrophe from inconvenience in that moment? Not your job title, not your credit score, is whether, somewhere in the quiet of the last few months, you secretly built a wall. A wall of small, consistent, almost invisible bricks. You didn't build it to impress anyone. You built it to protect yourself from exactly this guy. The first purpose of mana is not to make you rich. It's to make sure one bad guy does not have the power to erase your entire life. You don't need to be a millionaire to be safe. You just need a flood door. And that floor starts with one brick.